I am Serena Ittoo. I'm from Enfield in the United Kingdom.
Nice. And with that, you managed to create a whole different world to expand out to everywhere with your newest song, Another World. I am so curious to know what was it like writing it and producing it because it's such a fun song and it's very calming but yet exciting at the same time.
Thank you. Yes, I really appreciate that. So, over the Christmas period, so this was December 2023, I was like, okay, I'm gonna write some brand new songs. And I was like, so I always reference him a lot. I've been doing a lot of interviews lately, like typing up interviews, and I've realized I've referenced my jazz piano teacher friend Jamie a lot. But his name's called Jamie Peterson, and he teaches me jazz piano. And every session he gives me like really amazing tips and tools, and I implement it into my songwriting, whether it's my songwriting with my voice or songwriting with the piano and the chords that I use and things like that. I kind of take it on board with me for when I'm writing new material. And so I guess the Christmas period was a good time to reflect on the year and the tips and the tools that I have and just write new music. And Another World was one of the songs that came from that. I think over the Christmas period, I wrote 7 songs in total, and Another World was the fourth one. So I felt I was getting better and better each time. And I think when it got to this one, I was really experimenting with like a new chord progression that I hadn't used before. And with that, it wasn't just the chords, it was thinking about the way I play the chords. So the tone colors in the chords and where I position them on the keyboard to get a different tone color sound and things like that. So Another World, it sounds different to my other material, but it was the first time that I felt like I really started to hear myself as an artist.
Yeah, because it's honestly it's one of my favorite tracks so far out of the few that you have released so far. I think
Thank
what I
you.
really enjoy about this song is that I don't know why I always like to compare it to a random movie scene. It just kind of feels like that moment where you are, or the character is waiting for something, but it's just they can see it, but it's like it's right there and they're just waiting and you can just hear that music in the background and I'm just like you feel entranced by it.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it sounds very trancy, very I've noticed that. I think when you write a song it can sound one way as a draft, and when it comes to the production, and I think my references, it was like I really want something to make you feel the emotion and the sentiment of the track. I've been talking about a lot about the atmosphere and how this song is like on the theme of love, but like different, more sentimental than what you may actually think. It's much more deeper than that, and I wanted that to be conveyed through each of the instruments and stuff.
So now I have to ask, because you brought him up, has Jamie heard the song yet?
I think so. I think he liked my post when the song came out. He's really good at like I've noticed he's been supporting me. He's been supporting me every step of the way, but he's so busy with his work, so I'm gonna when we have a session again, I will play it to him.
Because I was like, oh my gosh, so him being a huge influence on you and he may have listened to is kind of very funny to me to know that.
It is really funny because there's loads of interviews on him, but I think it's very much like when I know he's busy, I'm like, I'll just wait till because I think we want to kind of have more fun with the sessions and be more free and easy with it. So go types in his name, it's like interview after interview after interview. But I met him at university, and it was at the time I think the time that I asked for his help with the jazz piano, it wasn't too long after I'd lost my best friend to bone cancer, unfortunately.
Oh,
So I really kind of he didn't even know that, but I confided in him, and at the time, he gave me advice that I felt like I really needed to hear the most at that time. And it was because you're thinking in your head, jazz improvisation, how that's like when your voice is like doing all this and you get a little bit in your head. So I think it was perfect to just ground me and just know to take things one step at a time. So very grateful to him, and it's great to hear how he's kind of had an influence on the musical sound of my songs.
well, that's good to hear, and I'm sorry about your loss. Um, So with that, I'm curious to know, because this is still like brand new steps for you into this world, are we going to see potentially a music video for this?
Oh no, not a
Okay.
music video for Another World. I think as an independent artist, it's so hard because you're having to like really keep a tight budget because it's just so much money is invested into it. And I've got a new song coming out in the summer, and I've just invested on a shoot to do loads of TikTok videos for it. So instead of music videos, I'm focusing more on that for now, really.
Okay. So with that in mind, with it being a lot of TikTok videos and taking time out of your day trying to be involved in your music and then going into social media side, does it feel like it's straining on your creativity?
Oh yes, I feel like with social media, I when I was growing up at school, I wasn't on like Instagram or Facebook or anything like that. I only had Snapchat, and that was just like happy birthday to my friends, and it was just easier than to get all of their numbers. But so I really kind of leaned off of it. So to come into like your artist career journey, and then you're doing all the music and you're having fun with that, and then there's this whole social media side of engagement, it can feel a bit like overwhelming, but I think holding on to my authenticity and not feeling the need to do things that feel like to like stepping a little bit like what do you call it, running before you can walk. I think that's kind of helped me. So I feel like there's so many things that I will be doing on TikTok and Instagram, more personal things, but I'm happy that I haven't leapt into that before I felt totally ready to show that side to me.
And that's actually kind of a great thing for you, just so that you have that ability to be the other side and observe from what's going on, and then to be able to like step foot into the pool. I think that's really cool that you've done that method. Um, so with that, I am curious to know like how crazy you're going to go on these TikTok videos.
Oh, so on Thursday we went to Hastings, which is weird. I shot my music video for Nature for Scene in Hastings, and we actually realised that so we went on the 27th of June, so a couple of days ago for this TikTok shoot. And the first time I'd met Marcus, who filmed all the videos, was one whole year before that for our first photo shoot. And we were
Oh,
just like thinking, how much has the confidence grown? Like I'm no longer growling at the camera, like doing like some of these photos that I look back from my first photo shoot and I'm like, I look so angry. Why do I look so angry? But now I feel like I've grown. But we went to Hastings and we had a crazy, crazy day. I was up at 3:45 a.m. and we arrived home at midnight, and because we shot in different locations in Hastings and we were taking different parts of the song. We were like on the beach, we were like in so many different places, but Marcus has a vision of how he's going to put this together, but I'm excited for it.
so wait, what was your favorite scenery wise for the song that you
Oh,
did?
that's a great question. There were so many good ones. I think I loved it when we were just kind of I think when we were on the beach still, when we did different places on the beach where, and like, it was a little bit windy, so it was hot but windy. So the
Yeah.
songs like let you in. And I said to him, this is the perfect weather because the song's about freedom and like being free and letting people in and things like that. And I felt like the wind was just like really like hitting me like that. So my arms were up. It felt free.
Very like, the model with the gigantic fan blowing kind of wind.
Yes. Sometimes it was, I mean, I felt like my hair was so tangled afterwards and I kept like trying to brush my hair all the time, but it was good for the shoot.
Was there any funny moments during that shoot?
Probably when my hair was blowing in my face and it's all like this and I'm trying to sing, but no, probably just that. Maybe people, like, I think there were some school kids and they were looking at me with some strange looks, wondering what I'm doing. And actually, there was a man walking his dog and he wasn't happy because he accidentally got in the shot, but he kind of looked up at Marcus and gave him a funny look because he wasn't happy that we were filming at the park.
in a public space.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. Because normally I would probably, if I was filming in a public space and the guy did that, I don't think he would interact so much, but I know he would be like, "Can you do that again without me?"
Yes. And I think we definitely were going, we did do it again, but we were always going to do it again because obviously it doesn't really fit in with the sentiment of the song. But I didn't even realize that this was happening behind me, but I think he was a little bit old, and I get it if he goes, he wants peace and quiet, but it wasn't our fault.
That's cute. So I'm usually at the part of my time where I have a couple of these little conversation cards, just a way for you, for potential fans to know and get to know you on a fun level.
Okay, this
All right.
sounds great.
Which one should I do here? Let's start with this one. If you could be anybody's twin, who would you pick?
Anybody's twin. Oh, as in like a celebrity.
Could be a celebrity.
Okay. If I could be anybody's twin, I think I'm gonna have to choose like one of my idols, John Bellion, because I feel like if I was the twin, but like a sister of John Bellion, I'd be like super talented at everything and I'd have the right mindset around everything. I feel like we have similar values in terms of like don't want to be a digital Jesus and things like that. So imagine like the amount of music that we'd be able to like come up with together.
Honestly, I love that answer. And I don't hear John Bellion's name that much out in the universe. So to hear you say it's like, so cool to hear that.
Yeah, I've been listening a lot to his music and just like music that he writes to other people. But I saw an interview of his recently. I think it was on the George Janko show. I think that may be his name. But I was just like so taken back. It made me love him like even more.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I think that might be the same interview I saw too, because I was over here being like, oh, so that's why he hasn't done anything recently. Okay, that explains it.
Yeah.
It's so cool though. Here, what is something that you wish you've never found out about?
Oh, something I wish I never found out about. Actually, probably linking to like music and hearing how much something about the how much credit like you could write a song for people and it's actually completely normal for you to not get any credit for that song whatsoever based on who you are and the amount of other writers in the room and who has more like authority over you. I feel like it's when you kind of start to hear about the numbers of like how much money you earn and things like that. I think that's where it really rings home that you have to do it for the right purpose, your music career, as opposed to like, I'm doing this as a job. You've got to do it for your purpose and not allow too many things to kind of like fill your head. So I'd answer that shortly in terms of saying just the truth about the music industry and how some of these things work.
Yeah. And with that, I'm curious, to know. I want to pick a fun one.
Yeah,
Here,
I heard
I'm
I'm
changing.
serious.
We've done so many serious ones, and I'm like, all
Yeah,
right.
I did think I was like, I feel like I'm sounding really serious with
No,
my
you're
answer.
good. You're good.
Fun answer.
Um, what is the worst place somebody could take you on a first date?
Worst place. Um, I'm so bad at coming up with things on the spot. It's got to be, I think there's nothing nothing worse if they take you to like a restaurant or something where you don't really like the food. Like if they choose something either that, so either something really specific and you're like, "Oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna I don't want to be rude and I don't want to be like this," or they cook you something and you're like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. Either that, or they take you to something where they really love this thing, like whether it's a sport or something can't think of anything specific, and they're really passionate about it and they love it, and you could tell that they really love it, and you're thinking, oh, I hate this. I just want to go home, and I'm not very happy. I feel like I'm one of those people that um I feel like in my head there's so many like barriers, so I'd feel like just take me to somewhere comfortable first.
Yeah, no, I can agree with you. I went on a date to a comedy show, and it was his favorite comedian. And
Oh
I'm over
God.
here being like, I've never heard this guy. And I'm listening to him, and I'm like, this guy's the worst. Like, he's not
Yeah,
landing his
that's
jokes. And what's worse is the comedian knows that I'm not enjoying him. And he starts, pointing at me and interacting with me. And I'm like, I want to be done with this. I'm on a first date. What else do you want to know?
I think there's nothing worse when you're having to pretend like, oh, this is really great. This is really, and you're just like, oh, I don't, this is terrible. I want to go home.
Oh my gosh. And what sucked was is that he was like, yeah, we're gonna go on a second date soon. And I'm over here being like, no, we're not. What do you
No.
mean?
I used to do this thing, and it wasn't like a date, but whenever there'd be like situations that were really like, I just need to get out of this situation. My best friend Thomas, he was quite funny. He would pretend that he was like my boyfriend or something, and he would like call me and be like, Serena, I want you to come home, or I need to see you, or something like that. And that was what I used to have to kind of like get me out of weird situations. And if he was still alive, and this is not getting serious, it's making me smile. I could imagine if I was like on a date and it was terrible, he would just be like, Serena, just send me a text, call me, I'll be there, and you'll be out of that in 5 minutes.
Ah, that's amazing. Gosh, because I would really wish I had him with me because like that date, oh my gosh, I don't know how I managed to escape him and was like relieved to know that I was nowhere near that comedy club. I've never been to that comedy club since, just because of that whole
Oh, that's a tough one. There's so many different things in it. I think it's only because it could feel quite, it depends like how you are with the person or if you met them before or anything like that, but you'd want to just have a good time and you kind of just want to get to know them. You want to see like what it's like in their company. But sometimes if you're doing something like, for example, you're watching a comedian that you've never heard of before and you don't necessarily find them funny, you can kind of tell like it can just kill the atmosphere really quickly.
Yeah, like I have taken improv classes, so I'm good with like faking it, but there's only
Yeah.
so much you can fake.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be the
You,
same.
you know what, with that in mind, what do you exaggerate the most?
Oh, exaggerate the most. Oh, probably loads of things. It's probably more to do with like my family. Like something could go. I remember like something could go wrong, and I know in my head there's nothing that my mum can do about it, and it's probably my fault. Like for example, I break my laptop or something, and this did happen, and I did watch myself, but this was a great example, and it's your fault. But then you're like so like like being dramatic over it. Oh, the laptop and all this stuff, as if like, and like when you really know that you have to just keep calm and be like, okay, be like an adult, not a child. Like, what can I do? I need to go and get that fixed ASAP. Luckily, it didn't smash, but sometimes I feel like sometimes I can just, or like if I'm in pain, I can really drag that out as well.
No, I get that. I get that. Gosh, I know this is like off topic. I went and photographed Renee Rapp. Um, And right before her, I was photographing the opener, and my camera completely dies. I don't know what happened to it. I'm freaking out. And I'm like, I haven't even photographed Renee yet, and it's not doing the thing I want to do. And I'm surrounded by all these older men who are photographing, and they're just like, it's okay, calm down. It's not. It's not okay. It's making the weird noises.
And it's only when you're exaggerating as much as you are and you find yourself in the middle of it and then you hear yourself back that you realize that you're exaggerating. And then in a way it makes you laugh. But the whole pain thing is like you hit your toe against something and then you start exaggerating over it. Again, as if
Yeah,
like it's your brother's fault that you've hit your toe on the tour. Like you
it's all
just
your
use it.
fault.
Yeah.
You're the one who happened to be right there in the exact spot.
does it to me as well, and it's like, what?
I know, I'm actually kind of surprised my brother hasn't messed with the Wi-Fi yet. Because I told him, I'm like, hey, I have an interview at 11. Don't bother me. And he's like, now I feel like I have to bother you.
Oh, I literally had to say to everyone, like, go upstairs, please. I'm downstairs. Like my dad was like, oh, I'm leaving at 4:15 to go to work, and he was like, I'm gonna take the bins out and all this, and I was like, oh, please, no, please, you're the worst one in the household to come down and tell me you're the one that's leaving because you make the most amount of noise.
Oh yeah, and it's the sudden announcement. Hey, I'm leaving. I'll see you guys in a few minutes. I'll see you guys later on tonight. And I'm like, no, shh, on board. Like I feel like you have to have like the like on air sign somewhere that they know.
Yes, I think it's been really hard to like. I had to stop recording vocals here. I used to do it in the sitting room just because, to be fair, it's not a recording studio, and there's so many things that I think like the vocal projection if it bounces off of the walls or anything like that. And I have our neighbor on this side, and they have a little baby girl, and there's nothing that you can say about it because obviously she's crying and things like that. But when it's going into the recording, it's like, oh no, I can't record. I'm gonna have to wait, and she's not gonna stop crying until I don't know what time. So it's like even with interviews, you're just hoping that it's not so loud that you're gonna hear it.
Here, we'll do one last one. What are you currently obsessed with?
Currently obsessed with, ooh, probably John Bellion. John Bellion's music. Listening to that, listening to that, and then being like, oh, I want to write like that. I want to collab like that. One of the cool things with Jamie, we were starting it and then we got busy, but we were going to write a song, but we were using John Bellion as the reference artist. So I feel like it's been even better that it's been like a whole. Yeah, I think it's been a year since we may have spoken about it, or roughly a year since we've spoken about it. So now I feel like I understand John Bellion's music more than I did back then. So when ideas are being bounced, I'm going to be like, yes, I know that. And why don't we try this? I can hopefully give more of an input.
I love that. And maybe one day you'll be able to meet him and be able to work with him.
Hopefully, I think I told myself that would be my dream co-writer, producer.
Gosh, gotta let the manifestations grow, simmer first.
Absolutely.
And in the meantime, you got your song Another World out, and you said you have another one coming out soon.
Yes, I do. So that's called Let You In. I think it's coming out at some point in August.
Ooh, okay. It's gonna be very fun. Oh my gosh. And then are we hoping to see like a EP coming out or
I don't think I'll be releasing an EP this year, but I'm hoping to get to doing live shows like fairly soon.
ooh.
So there's a whole lot that comes with that. So I know that I'm hoping to invest in a musical director soon, just so that because you have all of these songs, and then it's like, how do you put it to a live performance? So obviously it's about thinking about what you're going to play live, what instruments are going to be live, how you're going to all put it together. So I want to take some time to really kind of enjoy that and really figure it out, and then hopefully do some live shows from September.
Where can we be able to find you?
Yes, so all social medias, I think I'm at Serena Ittoo, so just SerenaITTOO.